Several bills were laid on the table of the House of Assembly today.
Carla Palmer tells us that the primary focus was on a bill to reduce revenue losses and increase the tax dollar in the public treasury.
The introduction and passing of a bill in the House of Assembly to provide for the imposition of excise stamps to regulate and control the importation and manufacture of tobacco products is the answer by the government to increase its revenue and stopping a leakage, which reportedly remains ongoing in the industry. It is estimated that $25 million a year is lost in revenue to the smuggling of tobacco products in the country. Introducing the bill, Minister of State for Finance, the Honorable Michael Alcides, says on the advice of experts, with the effective implementation of the act, the government could recover 80% or $20 million of the revenue being lost.
This is an example of a stamp. Our design would be unique to the Bahamas and would be approved by the Ministry of Finance, but affixed to every pack of cigarettes or cigars or tobacco products, backward, black and mild, whatever, would be a unique stamp. And when the excise officers were to go to any premises to do an inspection, they would look for such a stamp, and they can electronically track such a stamp, and this embedded into the stamp would be information on what the product is, who imported it, when it was imported, and the fact that the stamp is on there is evidence that the taxes have been paid.
Further, says Alcides, the Minister of Finance shall be the sole issuer of excise stamps, and it shall only issue stamps to registrants. The cost of the stamps are also to be fixed by the Finance Minister before being gazetted. Accordingly, the Minister will also approve the design of the stamp and enter into an agreement with the manufacturer or printer of the stamp. The registrant is also required to maintain records for a period of 10 years. In the absence of this stamp on any product, Mr. Alcides says it will be left to the government to assume that the products were imported illegally, and the merchant will be subject to sanctions including fines and prison time. To further ensure the act is carried out, Mr. Alcides says excise officers, which include customs officers and members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, will be mandated to be stationed at all ports of entry.
Bond will have to be put up by registrants, Mr. Speaker, to ensure payment. The registrant will pay the applicable tax before the issuance of the stamps, and the stamps affixed to the tobacco products, as I said earlier, Mr. Speaker, will be evidence that the taxes have been paid. The local importer may purchase stamps and have them delivered to an overseas manufacturer to affix to tobacco products to be imported into the Bahamas. So a large importer, Mr. Speaker, might purchase stamps, pay for them, have them delivered to a manufacturer overseas who would then, in the factory, affix them to the packages.
Ms. Alcides says the only persons that will be exempt from the excise stamp, where there's a small quantity for personal use, as well as individuals holding diplomatic immunity.
We believe that if someone will be involved in the smuggling of tobacco, that person could very well be involved in the smuggling of illegal arms, in the smuggling of illicit drugs, Mr. Speaker. And so if we begin to cut off or reduce the profitability of persons who are involved in smuggling, so if they decide that it's no longer worth it to smuggle tobacco, then perhaps we close some of those other avenues as well.
Mr. Alcides terms the act a straightforward piece of legislation intended to ultimately assist in adopting a balanced approach to improve the economy. I'm Carla Palmer for the ZNS News Network.